this corner, we have the 800-pound gorilla, the GoPro HERO4 Black Edition. And in the other corner, we have from the juggernaut that is Sony Electronics, the FDR-X1000V 4K Action Cam.
Oh, hi there. Chris here from Videomaker.com with the video you've been waiting for. The hands-on battle between the GoPro HERO4 versus the Sony 4K Action Cam FDR-X1000V. This is the very first major brand competitor for the HERO4 Black, and we're going to explore the ins and outs of both cameras, comparing them to each other and showing you the results. First off, both cameras are exactly the same price at $499.99. We're going to dive into three main categories with each having three subgroups within them. First, image quality, looking at the detail and sharpness of each camera, how true color is, and overall dynamic range. Second, we're going to look at the ecosystem Sony and GoPro have to offer, examining their housings, mounts, and accessories. And lastly, which form factor is superior via its ease of use, looking at menu operation, button assignment, and battery life and cost. We will be showing you videos side by side, so make sure the video is full screen to explore the differences between these two cameras. Pop some popcorn, get a drink, and sit back. We've got you covered. Without further ado, here we go.
Yay!
First, we'll examine the detail and sharpness. Check out these side-by-side videos. Take a look at the plant in the tree planter box in the middle. With the GoPro, each leaf blends together, showing some detail, but when compared to the Sony, it looks blurry. With the Sony, the leaves are more crisp and have more detail.
Round one, Sony.
For our color test, we chose to shoot in flat or natural mode. More color grading can be done when shot in flat. With the GoPro, flat is within the Pro Tune settings, and the Sony has just two choices, natural or vivid. As you can see, both cameras produce good color, but the Sony over the GoPro has more true color in the sky, and the cement in the courtyard looks as it does with the naked eye.
Round two, Sony.
For the dynamic range test, we decided to cut the shot horizontally instead of vertically so you can see the large shadow from the building on the left. The contrast is quite large between the two cameras. There is far less contrast from the shadow, non-shadow part of the GoPro shot versus how dark the shadow is with the Sony.
Round three, GoPro. After 3 rounds by way of a 2-1 decision, the Sony FDR-X1000V wins the first bout. Image quality. Yay!
When we were looking at the housings of each the GoPro and the Sony, after opening each just once, one thing is very apparent. The GoPro is much easier to get into. As well, with the Sony, the picture quality when underwater is far weaker. Let's take a look at some footage shot underwater. See the detail in the step? The Sony is just plain blurry. It seems this is mostly from the dome in the housing of the Sony. Sony does offer a dive door for $29.99, but it makes one wonder why it wasn't designed without needing an additional accessory.
Round one, GoPro.
When looking at the mount, we really like the Q20 of Sony's mount. It mounts to a tripod easily, but doesn't secure as well as the GoPro mount, moving left and right. And really, who mounts an action cam to a boring tripod? It's definitely all about the accessories.
Round two, GoPro.
Lastly, let's look at the accessories. The GoPro accessory ecosystem is far more extensive and has more than one option for many of the mounts. Sony, although thorough, doesn't compare in sheer volume of options.
Round three, GoPro. After 3 rounds by way of total and complete knockout, the GoPro HERO4 Black wins the second bout. Ecosystem. Yay!
To say menu operation in either of these cameras is weak is an understatement. Nothing kills inspiration faster than navigating a menu. However, both of these, when using Wi-Fi devices, app or remote, are much more simple to operate. But when used without, the GoPro system is easier to navigate and change settings. This is mostly due to the organization of the menu. Sony has way more sub-menus.
Round one, GoPro.
These two cameras couldn't be further from each other in how they look. Both have 3 buttons to operate, but that's where the similarities end. The Sony doesn't have an off button, but rather a choice in the menu. And the record lock button on the Sony often gets turned on when you don't want it on and will cause you to not be able to roll when you really want to. And turning it on is too easily done and can cause too many oops recordings. The GoPro is simple to turn Wi-Fi on and off, but is within a menu for the Sony.
Round 2, GoPro.
and battery. We operated both cameras at 1080 at 60p. The outcome was that the Sony battery lasted 30% longer than the GoPro. However, the GoPro battery is $19.99 and the Sony battery is $49.99. Depending on the shooting you are doing, or rather if you are not easily able to change the batteries, the price tag makes the GoPro a better option.
Round 3, GoPro. After 3 rounds by the way of knockout, the GoPro HERO4 Black wins the final bout. Form factor, ease of use.
So we wanted to show off some notable features that each of the cameras have, just to wrap up our full coverage of both cameras. The Sony has a 160 megabyte bitrate. The GoPro shoots also in 2.7K, which the Sony does not. The Sony has a wind reduction option along with stereo mics. The GoPro can shoot both video and time-lapse at the same time. Sony has steady shot image stabilization, and GoPro has Pro Tune settings that also include their ISO limit, and the Sony lastly is splash proof without its case. We have a few video montages that we're going to be showing you here, but first off we're going to let you hear the wind reduction on the Sony versus the GoPro without, as well as the Sony without wind reduction on through its stereo mics.
overall winner by a 2-to-1 decision, the GoPro HERO4 Black Edition.
It seems that the 800-pound gorilla that is GoPro will stay in waiting for a better competitor. But don't lose hope. There can be so many great improvements that action cameras in general could have. We'd like to see more control. For professional results, having full control over your exposure, depth of field, and focal length is the difference between your footage looking like it was shot by a pro or by an amateur. Although it's true that fully pro action cam would cost more, it would also benefit any brand, making it its flagship that others would need to compete with. The full 4K footage is online now, so click here to check those out. We'll also post full video reviews of both cameras, so stay tuned. As always, subscribe to our YouTube page, like, share, and comment below. We want to know what you think. If you love video production, want to learn more, and want to stay up to date on the newest and coolest gear, sign up for our exclusive newsletter and we'll deliver it right to your inbox. Want to go down the wormhole? We have more of our YouTube videos below. If you're a Plus member, check out the center video for a premium Videomaker.com video. I'm Chris from Videomaker.com. Thanks for watching.